Let's do this. Let's finish off the GT. Let's see what I wrote down as things to do. So, oh, that's not the right one. Here's the order I recommend of you doing this week. The most important thing for my mentees, or for anyone really, is to work on the rooms that we taught last night. And I want you to work on them really hard and master them. So the rooms I'm going to go over next, I would say, are secondary. It's more important to master the Gauntlet and Aga 2, and maybe Landmo as well, than to have a good idea what to do in 20 rooms. Does that make sense? It's better to know the 10 rooms we went over rather than extend to 20 rooms if you're not as sure about certain rooms. So that's what I always encourage pretty much with any of them. But if you feel really solid about the Gauntlet and Aga 2, then let's go over Mimics. All right. So, yeah. You obviously have your sword or bow because you shot that thing over there. So the first thing you want to do is you want to walk over to here. And then as you hold down, you're going to slash. And as you can see, I have pushed the bottom right one in the center, as well as I'm going to be able to push against this wall. That's the most important thing. All those mimics. 1, 2, and then 1, 2. And if you want, rather than clinking off of the red guy or doing a spin attack, it's actually better to do 1, 2, and then move over. Well, wait, I guess you got to do it as you attack him. Okay, so I let go of sword as I'm shooting the arrow. That's what I do. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I exit the room. If you want to do the dash, I think you can save 5 frames. But what I'm doing when I do this is I'm holding right until I see the red guy get to this point. That's my goal. So right there is when I do the slash down. Now I want to warn you, if you go a little bit lower, that spike is going to poke you and it's going to be annoying. Now he's not going to bother you initially. It'll bother you right here if your sword is too high. Obviously the red guy's bothering me right now, but the spike itself might be annoying if you're any lower than that. Let's see if I could do one tap down. Yeah, any lower than that. So E, or is it? Yeah. Oh no, F works. So that's the trick. Is it actually can hit you? I guess you see how the sword is kind of like bouncing a little bit. I guess it could theoretically. So I guess D is the minimum. Because when Link is holding left, he kind of bounces. Actually, that's pretty important. So I'm glad I figured that out. So even if this clinks by accident, first thing you should do is just re-slash and then hold left or hold right to force him, right? Because that's the main thing, right? Like I'm moving him left and right like this. So like if I got a clink, it's just slash and hold and press right. Even if it's a clink, you see that? I can move him as long as I press slash before I press a direction. Link will not change direction. Well, see, I did it wrong there. As long as I'm pressing B and then left or right, it seems to work. It's not a terrible exercise in its own, but all right. So that time I got a little clink, but you see, I just reacted, right? I immediately slashed and then I held left to push the second guy away. In my opinion, this is very quick for how easy it is. So that's a 720. You could try to get a little bit fancy with that. Oop, it helps when you don't hit something. So it's 1, 2, 7, 10. So that saves like 10 or 15 frames. I highly encourage when you're on PB pace, you're going to want something simple. And this is really fast for how simple it is. So I encourage that. So let's do Mimics 2 now. And I guess this is something to point out. But if you are shooting the arrow, you can be kind of like pushing him at the same time. So as the bow is out, you can be pushing him. So when I get to here, I try to get the second arrow, or at least even the first arrow on the second guy. I'm like I'm trying to end it. Hold on. About there. See? That was all bow. Here, let me get him back to over here. So that's bow and then hold left. See? I did it at the very end. It was just like one extra little step. That, if you start to encompass that, that's going to make this room, as well as the next room and the mimics in pot, a lot easier. If you can feel comfortable pressing the bow and then hitting left or right to force him to walk into the arrow. All right, so let's talk about this room. That's my goal. So what do? Slash down, and then I walk right a little bit, basically in line with the BMOS. So it's walk right, face down, and then if you hold right, you will line them up there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to face up, shoot an arrow and hold up left, and then shoot an arrow again and hold up right. See how I kind of crisscross? And if you time it properly, it should not get hit. And you have a bigger window than you think. Well, it helps when you don't get hit by the BMOS. It's a little awkward to do with the save state, but because it usually doesn't look like that. But hopefully you see my movements. And then guess what? Something goes wrong like this, right? Just do the normal slash thing. He's like, you're facing this way and you need to just slash your sword and then press down to line up with him, right? So, oh, shoot, something messed up. Well, fortunately, I can just shoot a couple times. But let's say I was like this, right? Slash and fix it. Or just shoot an arrow, like I was telling you before. All right, so let's do the whole room again. That's what I encourage. I know a lot of people like have this or something. I have never liked this strat. You can see how long it takes to shoot these arrows because they have to travel so far. And yeah. I've never been a fan of that strat. I think this is easy enough to it will feel a little weird to kill the top guy, and you may get hit a few times, but it will click eventually to get these diagonals off. Diagonal arrow, and then you're just out of the room. All right, let's go over this room since I just feel like I'm in a good mood. So what I do is I hold right out of that, and I slash at the top of that button switch. And you should be able to beat that spike if you're fast enough. I was a little slow on the dash. Well, it helps when you move over to the right and not run into the guy. I have to say, this room is pretty tricky. Especially if you have not been practicing that much. There you go. And now you can beat that spike. This is the spike you have to beat. This one right here. That's the one that's going to be very scary. And I find the trick number 1 is slashing higher than this if you can and pressing up left so that way you kind of clink off of him and pick up the pot. And this pot here on the left, you don't want to nudge. So you don't want to do this. This nudge is going to cost you hitting the spike. It is actually better to overcompensate and dash a little bit further to the left of this pot, then nudge the pot, because then you'll be further to the left of that spike that I was talking about. So now let's put it all together. See how high I am? And I moved over to dodge him. All right. I was a little slow on the dash up that time. As you can see. Yeah, I think I nudged that a little bit too much, and that's why the red guy spawned. So it definitely has to do with being higher to get a clean pickup on that pot. I think that is where I at least have a problem with, of having to get this dash here as clean as I can to the top to pick it up, and then I can beat the spike. So I'm glad I was able to do it 3 times in a row for my own sanity. But you see how high I am when I hit that switch? And I actually moved to the left a little bit, right? Look how far left I am compared to where I was before. That's going to be a problem, isn't it? No, it's not. Okay. So there you go. We went over the gauntlets. Moldorm 2. Yeah, we'll talk about Moldorm 2 and then we'll go back to armor. So I'm kind of going in the order of what I would say is priority of getting good or mastering the room. But I will do as much as I can. So let's talk about Moldorm 2. So what you want to do is you obviously want to have this, and you're most likely going to have hook shots. So make a save state like that. No reason not to. I don't think anyone is hovering here, so you might as well have hook shot, and you probably would have gotten that chest for the small key. All right. So you want to dash, hold down, and dash at him. And this is where you have to decide whether you're going to hit him or you're going to have to stop the slash. Obviously, I did not. And now what I want to do is show you that if you charge your sword and release your and do a hook shot, you can do an immediate spin and go through him and use the invincibility of hook shot. So what does that mean? What I'm going to do is I'm going to dash and miss, obviously. Now when he comes towards me, hook shot, and I've already let go of B. By the time I press hook shot, I'm not pressing any button on the controller. And funny when you forget the word controller. And Link will release the spin attack immediately when the hook shot retracts completely. The only caveat is you have to make sure he's coming at you, whether he's doing his turn or straight on you. You don't want to always do the hook shot. Sometimes he kind of just wanders off and doesn't aggro to you. In that case, you want to actually just walk towards him and spin attack. So only unless he's coming at you that you want to do this hook shot. So let's see. See, he's coming at me. So now I did the hook shot. I want to find an example where he doesn't come at me, so that way you can see both. You kind of want to stand like right here. See how I had enough time? It probably wasn't great that I was facing him with the slash, but let's see. See, that's a good example. See how he kind of wrapped around this way and I had enough time to grab his tail? That's going to cost you time. If you can avoid a hook shot, you should avoid a hook shot. I'm going to hook shot that one. Unfortunately, it is possible for him to hit you if you're vulnerable. That was a very rare case, and I will tell you that most of the time he's not going to hit you. So I'm very fortunate he didn't knock me off, but I'm glad that it showed that. Yeah, when he's like bouncing around here, it's very hard to see if you can catch his tail because you know that he'll like come straight out at you, and then you'll just clink off his head and get pushed over here. So I think it was pretty safe to just wait to see what he does. Maybe if he like did like a big half a spin like this, I could have tried to sneak and catch his tail, but kind of general similar to Moldorm when it came to the first time you fought him. When he's by the edge, be careful. But you see, the most important part is you see where I'm dashing here? I just walk down. I don't hold down right to go towards him. I just go right to this spot and I start dashing. And then I'll react to whether I'm going to be able to get him. He went straight at me that time, so I used the hook shot immediately. I really haven't shown you a good example where you don't have to use the hook shot. This might be one. Yeah. That's just me recognizing that he's not gonna aggro towards me. He's going to choose a half circle, and I saw that he was gonna choose a half circle that way. So I was standing here-ish about when he was here, and I kind of just went to the top as he went straight down like this. And remember, as I will say every time, your spin attack is a really big square. That's a good example. Now, I will tell you, if you don't react to that and you hook shot here, there is a very good chance that by the time your hook shot retracts, he's going to start aggroing to you. So that is going to punish you if you hook shot in that exact spot. Now, obviously, you would be waiting for the hook for that to spawn, and I wanted to show you this. So, have you seen some fancy people just kind of run out of the room, and you're like, man, I want to do that, right? So, what you want to do is you want to hold down left and start your dash. So you look at my control. You see how I'm holding down left. I touch the wall, and then I hold A, and then I let go of the diagonal, because obviously if I continuously hold diagonal, I will cancel the dash. But the idea is that you are starting the obviously I can't do it. You're starting the dash as you hold down left. Touch the wall. I'm not getting the down left that I want. And then you can start pressing A or holding A to dash. So hold down left up to the wall and then press A. I don't know why I'm getting that. So weird. So I think what you want to do is hold down left out of the hook shot, and then when you touch the wall, you can start charging to dash. Hopefully my buttons make sense, because obviously me talking is not making as much sense. But yeah, you want to buffer down left out of the hook shot. And then right when you touch the wall, that's when you hold A and let go of down left. Cool. Let's talk about armos. Then I'll work my way back up to the top rooms. Okay. You know what? Let's do the floor. Yeah, let's do the floor. Let's say you need that chest. What I like to do is do a slash, bomb pickup, wait in this corner, and then pick up the arrows. I think that's the most efficient way to doing this. Slash, bomb, chuck, wait in this corner, pick up the arrows. I know some people like find different ways of doing it. There is technically a faster way to do it, but I don't recommend it. So if you need those 10 arrows and you're really low and that you don't have 18 for ice armos, I recommend those arrows. All right. So ice armos. A fight I actually don't think I do very smoothly. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, and then I just spam Y until they're all dead. So, what did I just do? I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it like this. But basically, you're shooting, is it 3 up? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, kill, wait, 1, 2, and then you want to go there. So I am purposely waiting there so that way they start moving. It is a little bit faster. You don't have to if you don't want to. If you want to make sure you get to the top and you're not that concerned about time, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can start shooting this guy first, and now you'll just have to wait for them to start moving. You see how I kind of just like wait right by the door? I know some people kind of sneak a little bit down. And obviously, if you need to, you can just lean against this chest and pick up this for the last 10 hours if you need them. Probably good to have 10 or 11 arrows before you climb, because you'll need 8 for the mimics and then 2 or 3 for the gauntlet, right? I kind of teach you guys to, at maximum, use 3 arrows for the first room. Okay. Let's talk about double crystal and fire snakes, and I think we're good. What is spike ambush? All right, I wanted to do the room before that, so all right, don't worry about. So there technically is a way that if you're fast enough to beat this spike, don't worry about it. Okay, so this is the room I wanted to go over. So there's a few comfortable ways to do this. And you see how far I walked? Like, this is what the most important thing I want to show you is I walk this far and I can usually hook shot it. I'm usually lower, that's why. But you see, I walked all the way almost to the door. So that's what I wanted to show you is that you really have a lot more time than you think. That was probably the the closest I could to not getting that hook shot. But I want to show you that if you line up with these red things, you have time to turn and even walk a little bit to the pot if you would like to. But the biggest thing I always recommend is you want to boomerang like flat on this. If you can theoretically do that, that is going to make your window tighter to hook shot, and I don't recommend that. That's why I recommend trying to push your way to the left of this. And basically, it's like right after you throw it. And then you want to pick up this pot on the right, and you see I pick it up immediately. I don't have to press down. So instead of pressing down, I actually press right to move to the door, towards the door. And then I pick up the key on the right side. So it's like pick up pot, walk to the right, pick up the key, and then walk up. So you see I'm on that. Nope. I went to the too far to the. See how I picked that up on the right side and then hold upright. Now the other room I wanted to talk about was fire snakes. There are definitely a few ways to do this, but I recommend just doing a bonk, and you could either push the block on the left to get over to it, or you can do the block to get a little closer, like that. They say it's a little bit faster because you're able to get invincibility. Well, but that's what usually happens to me when I do it. I usually end up clinking against the fire bar, and I don't like it. Yeah, that's what some people will recommend. I don't think you have to do that. I kind of like just pushing it from the left side. Obviously, I just got nailed by the fire bar. That's my preferable way. It looks like I lost 6 frames for doing it that way. If you wanted to, you could do a hook shot there instead. I keep getting hit by that fire snake. Facing up is not the right call. There is technically a way to get a dash off that you get in here quick enough. I don't recommend it. My recommendation is bonk over that, go over here, go to that side, and get out of the room. So, let's talk about the rooms at the top. So I will tell you this: when it comes to helmet key, it's not worth it unless you're hovering. I will show you how to get the small key in pre-moldorm chest, which is faster if you're going to use the hook shot and not hover. But I also would encourage, if you wanted to play it on the safer side, to get this key. This key here in the very beginning that I think I mentioned, must have been in Gab's PB review, to consider getting this key. This key is only 2 seconds slower than the pre-moldorm chest that I'm about to show you, and I know a lot of people do not like this strat. So that's why I will offer and say, get this key instead of this key here. And I will show you how to get this keys if you want to try it. It will save you 2 seconds, but I'm letting you know right now that it is a very good safety to grab the key that I mentioned to you on the torch over here and skip that key. And I'll show you how to do both. So let's start off by doing, I guess, torches too. So when you come out of this, just hold down right and you will face down. And it's up to you if you want to try to get fancy and try to get that line up there. Don't worry about it if you don't want to. It's not the biggest of deals. but it does make me feel fancy when I hit it. But if you just want to wait for the bubbles, bam. Okay, hold up left here. There is a bomb in this pot if you need it, but in theory, you should not need it. Hold down left, and you can actually place a bomb faster than waiting for the door. So most of the time, you have to wait until you leave a door to press Y. For some reason, in this door, you can actually place a bomb like immediately. It feels really weird, and it's like the only door you're going to do that. It's up to you what you guys want to do when it comes to this. There is like a damage strat. So if you take a damage off of the spike, you can get like an earlier dash. This is fine too. Also, this is fine. Okay. So let's do the room once. Yeah. So what you're trying to do is hook shot and grab this key and then grab the magic and get out. And depending on where you pick up this pot, this guy will either get in your way or not get in your way, this skull. And from what I remember, there is actually... So the reason why he's able to hit me there is because I'm not opening the chest fast enough. The chest itself is actually going to block him if I open the chest there. That's why he bounces off of that. If the chest isn't open, he doesn't bounce off that chest. You see how I'm kind of picking up the pot and then I'm walking over the pot that is the heart, the first pot. I'm walking over this and then hook shotting down. If you don't like that, do this. Hook shot there, pick up this key, and then go out. 924 versus what? 904? Well, it helps when you don't mess up. So that is also a possibility. Look at that, 942. It was slower because I had to hit the pot first. Look at that. Man, I just am getting bodied by that guy. 901. I am totally okay if you want to just slash or hookshot that switch. You see, it clearly is within that realm of a half a second. And you have no worry about the anti-fairy. So, you want the heart? Fine. Well, don't do that, I should say. Now hookshot this. Get this key. Bam. So, the heart may have cost you an extra half a second, it looks like. I think this strategy is actually very, very quick to do as a backup. But I will show you again. It's up to you when you want a menu to hookshot. I find it easier when I try to make sure that it hits the switch. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. And as you can see, when I'm a little bit slow in that room, it's only 10 frames difference when I make a mistake. Yeah, that's an 857, but like this was a 920 every time. Like that's really fast. 915. See, you can even sweat it even more and get a 915. So it's only like 15, 17 frames short, 15, 20 frames short. So I encourage you to do the safety strat here instead of the torch. I think I've changed my mind. I know I talked about the torch. I think this is actually a safer strat to do and costs you less time than bonking against the torch. So I'd like to amend what I said earlier. All right. Well, that's the remaining rooms for GT. If anyone has any other rooms they want to add, I've decided that it's probably a little bit easier if you just post it in the group chat. Just say, hey, Coin, go over how you pick up the big key. I don't know, something like that. Rather than me coming and checking the Excel to see if anything turned green or not. So, um, yeah, just let me know if there's any rooms you want me to go over. Again, I will stress it over and over again. I highly recommend you just work on Gauntlet and Agate 2. And if you put all your time into that for like a half an hour each day, your GTs are going to be so much better. If you have time to work on some mimics or the other bosses, that is also good. But it's much more important to master the 6 or 7 rooms we went over on Sunday than to pick up new rooms. Unless they're like really, something that are not, it's some things that are going really poorly in your runs, then yes, we of course can look at them. But that's what I'll always encourage. So yeah, let me know if there's any other rooms you want me to go over. Post them in the chat and say, "Hey, Coin, make a video about this room," and I'd be more than happy to. All right, good luck, everyone.